reported today in The Verge. Broadcast news networks paid more attention to climate change in 2019. Coverage of climate change on network news programs was up 68% in 2019 after a dip in 2018, according to an annual study by the non-profit watchdog group Media Matters for America. But even though broadcast TV networks spent more time talking about climate change, they didn't interview very many scientists, women, or people of color. Just 10% of guests were people of color, 27% were women, and 22% were scientists. Protests, fires in the Amazon rainforest, elections, and the Green New Deal drove the rise in climate coverage last year. Nightly and Sunday morning news shows spent 238 minutes reporting on climate change in 2019, compared to 142 minutes in 2018. People are beginning to see and experience the dangers that climate change poses, Alison Fisher, a program director at Media Matters, tells The Verge, and that could be behind the bump in coverage. She adds, however, that it's a problem that climate experts and communities on the front lines of climate change are still underrepresented in the media. Mass demonstrations across the globe in 2019 just became impossible to turn away from, Fisher says. Climate activists were demonstrating every week, they're walking out of school, they're occupying offices of Congress. It really changed the way that the media was looking at this issue. They started looking at it through the eyes of people that were in the streets, she says. Some of the most influential activists stirring up the brouhahas around climate change are women and people of color, Fisher says. Activist Greta Thunberg incited so many students across the globe to walk out of class that Collins Dictionary named climate strike its word of the year in 2019. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, DNY, introduced a resolution for a wide-ranging policy package called the Green New Deal. The push for a Green New Deal was also spearheaded by the youth-led activist group Sunrise Movement, which is headed up by Varshini Prakash, who often speaks about how her grandparents' hometown outside Chennai, India, was flooded in 2015 and remains vulnerable to sea level rise. So when mostly male, mostly white talking heads, politicians, and journalists are snagging a majority of the limited airtime devoted to climate change on television, it's extremely unfortunate because it's underrepresentation. It's a misrepresentation of what the movement actually looks like right now, says Fisher. The lack of scientists is a persistent issue, too, according to Fisher. The broadcast news programs are just not bringing on experts to explain and help people make heads or tails of the experience that they're seeing, whether it's extreme weather, hurricane or heat, or some other climate-fueled event, she says. Diversity Within Scientists interview. For more on this story, visit the news article link.